One thing a lot of guys fail to do is simply just be able to hold themselves accountable. It's like whenever something's not going right in their life, whenever they aren't seeing the results that they want, they're so quick to blame somebody else or something else. They might say they're not good with women because of their genetics. They might say that they aren't financially literate because their parents never taught them how to be. And whenever I hear guys complaining about stuff like that, not only does it make me want to disassociate myself with them, but I just lose so much respect. There's so many different ways for you to learn pretty much anything all on the internet. You can literally go and type in how to do blank, and there will be 1,000 results on how to do that. And if there aren't any results, now you just have a good business idea to start. But it really blows my mind how guys can just be so arrogant about this. Like, if you mess up on something, whether it's a small thing or a big thing, you have to just simply say, hey, I apologize, and then learn what you did wrong so you don't make that mistake again. Guys think it's like a bad thing, or it makes you look like a weak man if you own up to something, when in reality it's the complete opposite. Because if you're working in a team, right, and you try to do something and it doesn't work, and then people say, hey dude, like, the reason we lost or the reason we were unsuccessful was because you tried to do this. We're not blaming you. We're not saying you're not a valuable contributor, but we're just saying this doesn't work, or you did this wrong and that's why we lost. You have to look at it and be like, okay, if I know for next time that if I try this, it's not going to work. So in future, when we work together, I'm not going to make this mistake again. And it's just simple as that. And now you have the trust back within the group, because the group knows that, hey, if there's ever an issue, we can be honest with this kid and not worry about him getting mad. Because a lot of times when fingers are pointed at somebody and someone's clearly wrong, the guy just gets so mad. He thinks he has to be all macho and assertive and starts screaming back and then try to bring up things that aren't even in context. How many times have you said something to somebody and it was something that was obvious within the situation, and they try to bring something up from years ago about how you messed up that one time and how you have no business telling somebody else how to act, when in reality it's not even that serious. They're just trying to help you. They're just trying to naturally help you out and just be successful when you guys are working together. That's all it is. It's just improving your teamwork. There's a reason why guys, are able to work well with one another, and they thrive because they're able to understand that everything that happens isn't always going to be good. And when you do mess up, that can be directly because of you, obviously. And you need to just be willing to accept the fact that sometimes you will make mistakes. There's no point in trying to blame somebody else or blame other things that aren't even relevant to the situation. Just simply be a man and own up to it. Another thing that I've really noticed, when some guys are forced to apologize, they never really do a 100% authentic apology. It's always, if I made you feel this way, I apologize. It's always like a catch-22 to it. You apologize, but you say it in, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. But you know what I'm talking about? When it's usually, if you don't think something's such a big deal and say, like, you try to throw shade at them and then apologize afterwards. But it just, whenever you do apologize, it has to be 100% authentic. Legitimately say, hey, I apologize for this, and then tell exactly what you did wrong and just say how in future you won't make that same mistake. It's that easy. And it makes you look so much more heroic. It makes you seem so much more trustworthy, and then people will just like you more. But let's say you were clearly wrong and you try to say something and try to mumble it off or try to push it off to the side and say how it's not your fault and not even owning up to it. People aren't going to trust you. And if you're not a trustworthy man, it's going to be very difficult for you to enjoy your life and have quality company around you. Not only will the people you are at work with or whatever situations you're on teams, they're going to dislike you, but if you're not even trustworthy within your immediate family, they're not going to like you either. And that's even worse. The people that you sit at the dinner table with will not like you because you have the inability to be accountable. Don't be that guy that tries to push off everything and just just try to seem perfect all the time when, bro, we know that's impossible. That's not how humans are. Nobody has the ability to be right 100% of the time. And when you're wrong, just be a man and own up to it. It's not that difficult. If you truly have an ego issue with this, you have to understand that the guys that are higher up in the societal totem pole in terms of status and wealth, they own up to it all the time. They don't try to find a scapegoat or try to pass the blame to somebody else. The reason they got so successful and are in the position that they're in today is simply because they held themselves accountable. Sometimes you won't even have the ability to apologize, but you have to apologize to yourself and tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to hold myself accountable and I'm going to be an honorable human being. If I tell myself that I'm going to the gym every night after work, I'm going to go. I'm not going to skip a day just because I feel like it and then just blame it on something else. If I skip the gym, it's because I did it. It's my fault. You have to understand that. Because if you think that by passing the blame on something else, that all of a sudden you're excused from your behavior and you're excused from your decision and your results won't suffer because of it, you're out of your mind. A lot of guys will do this and then they wonder why they're in the same position that they always were in. Simply by holding yourself accountable, it will allow you to actually, for once, be able to hit the goals that you want out of life. If you're not having some sort of system or some sort of moral intention that's keeping you grounded and keeping you working towards your goals, you're not going to achieve anything you actually want. You're just going to be that guy that said he tried to do everything, but there was always some sort of excuse or somebody that was holding him back, and as a result, you amounted to not even half of your potential.